Welcome back to LEGO Battlebots Season 3. It is time for the round of 16. Obviously, 16 bots left, and at the end of the episode, we will have our 8 quarterfinalists, the bots that will be going to the LEGO Battlebots Season 3 Championship. And kicking things off, we have a great fight for you between the number 1 overall seed Whiplash and the 16 seed Cherry Blossom. If we look at this fight, it does seem very similar to a fight we have seen in the past when Whiplash fought Bloodsports in Season 2's quarterfinals. Whiplash was able to get the win that fight, as we know, it made it to the finals overall, but it barely won that fight. I mean, Whiplash was kind of demolished, and they kind of got lucky to get Bloodsport in a position where they couldn't get out, but Cherry Blossom is slightly less reliable in the weapon category. We've seen that weapon break several times over. Whiplash, I imagine, is still the heavy favorite to win this one. Obviously, the number 1 seed, the reigning runner-up, having 3 times more wins than Cherry Blossom. As many wins as Cherry Blossom's seed number. But still, over 16 seed should be a pretty difficult second tournament fight for Whiplash. I mean, that's still an incredibly dangerous weapon. I mean, there's a reason people are wanting to fight like Bloodsport and stuff. Like, this is one of the top horizontal sprinters in the field. They've proven that already. Let's see if they can take down the number 1 seed in a massive upset, or if Whiplash will be able to pull off something similar to what it did last season down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Cherry Blossom spinning up and already dealing some damage to Whiplash's wedge. And oh my goodness, the entire lifter system has been completely annihilated. The number 1 seed on the back foot incredibly early. But they did manage to pull off a miracle against Bloodsport. Can they do it here? They have to, but Cherry Blossom has Whiplash on the screws, smashes them, and removes a wheel. Oh my goodness, Whiplash is falling apart here as Cherry Blossom just continues the onslaught, and that is gonna do it.
10,
the number
9,
1 seed for
8,
the first time
7,
in Ballistic
6,
Test Robotics
5,
history will
4,
fall in
3,
the round of
2,
16.
1. Knockout.
This is kind of what we expect from Whiplash vs. Bloodsport back in Season 2, but this time Cherry Blossom was successful. They completely annihilated Whiplash's front immediately, and then they were able to actually utilize their forks incredibly well, get Whiplash onto the screws and putting them in a vulnerable position before hitting a massive shot that ripped off the wheels. And their control of this fight and not staying near the wall was what won them this fight and gave them the upset and put them in the quarterfinals.
Invincible.
And with that, the first of the top 4 seeds has fallen, that being the number 1 overall seed Whiplash. Both Season 1, Season 2, the number 1 seed made it all the way to the finals, but Cherry Blossom, the rookie, stopping them here and becoming the first bot this season to advance to the quarterfinals. Now we turn to the right side of the bracket where we see a rematch between the number 6 seed Nemesis and the 11 seed Titan. Here we have a classic rematch. Nemesis and Titan fought each other all the way back in Season 1, Episode 3, so the 4th video on this channel at all, and Nemesis was able to pretty easily get the win. Titan was showing aggression, but Nemesis was able to pretty quickly split Titan in half. Neither bot has changed at all since then, and both these bots have had very decent success. Of course, Nemesis, this is their 3rd round of 16 appearance. You can see 15 wins, among the highest heading into this episode. Titan, sure, they didn't do as well in Season 1, and they haven't done as well overall, but a 2nd round of 16 appearance in a row is nothing to scoff at for the 11 seed. And Titan, they, as we saw all the way back then, they were able to get some advantages over Nemesis back then. But can they do better than that now, or will the channel mascot rip them apart again? Let's find out down in the arena. Let the bot rematch begin. Both bots spinning up the weapons, and ooh, Titan getting a great shot, a couple great shots off a Nemesis to start things off. The channel mascot getting deflected backwards already as Titan continues their attack. Nemesis is a very heavy bot, so it's going to be difficult for Titan to land those brutal uppercuts that they have, but they are in control of this fight so far. Nemesis, but Nemesis charges right into Titan's face that time around and flips Titan over. You can see cracks starting to form on Titan's chassis, but they are not backing down, going right at the channel mascot. And there goes a tooth of Titan's disc. It looks like the fight is starting to turn here. Titan just continues to go on the attack. I mean, that's really what you gotta do against Nemesis. You just gotta keep attacking in hopes you get some kind of miracle shot. That's how Tantrum was able to beat Nemesis earlier in the season, and Titan nearly gets the shot there, nearly putting the channel mascot out of the arena, but Nemesis fires back, ripping off the other tooth of that weapon. That disc is essentially useless, and oh my goodness, Nemesis starting to go to work, but Titan holding up firm despite the damage that has been done. But that looks like it's gonna be it. And yes, indeed, Nemesis has split Titan in half for the second time in a row. But Titan put up one hell of a fight in that one.
10,
Nemesis
9,
absolutely
8, 7,
horrified
6,
by how much
5,
effort they had to put in to
4,
win that fight.
3, 2,
What a
1,
performance.
knockout.
I mean, this Titan was in control for, I'd say, at probably at least half of that fight. I mean, when they had their weapon at full power, they were going strong. I mean, they were launching Nemesis all around the arena, pinned them a couple of times. It was near, but they weren't really able to get the shots they needed to. They were never able to flip Nemesis over, which I think was the main problem in this fight. But still, they were dominant in the early going. But Nemesis, ever adaptable, slammed on the aggressive once again, just like they did against Monochrome last season. Flipped Titan over and began to turn the tide. Eventually, Nemesis was able to break off one of the teeth, but that still was not secure for the channel mascot as Titan continued to go on the attack. In fact, they nearly got Nemesis out of the arena here with an absolutely brutal uppercut, but Nemesis was able to hold firm and take off the other tooth of Titan's disc and pacify the monster, and then after a couple more shots, land the crippling blow to split Titan in half. Sure, the outcome may not have changed, but dang, Titan put up one hell of a fight. With that victory, Nemesis makes it to the quarterfinals for the third season in a row. Only one other bot can maybe try to match that feat, and that would be the 10-seed Tantrum, who we'll see at the end of the episode. Of course, with Whiplash losing in such a devastating manner, they obviously can't make it. But Nemesis continues to struggle in the round of 16. In the past couple fights, I mean, Titan, Monochrome especially, and even Standalone back in Season 1, have given the channel mascot a run for their money. And with an up-and-coming Hydra potentially facing them, that could be problems. I mean, Nemesis has always lost in the quarterfinals to a flipper, so that fight, if it does happen, would be very interesting to see. But Nemesis, they are safe for now. Let's go to the left side of the bracket for our next fight. We will see two up-and-coming sophomore bots, the 5-seed Mannerheim and the 12-seed Monochrome, battle it out. Mannerheim and Monochrome, two very strong competitors back in Season 2 when Mannerheim made it all the way to 3rd place while Monochrome didn't go as far. They nearly beat the channel mascot Nemesis. Here they stand the round of 16 for the second season in a row. Mannerheim has a couple more wins, but they both have the same number of losses, which I find pretty interesting. And obviously both bots have the same record heading into this fight. Both bots are pretty durable and have pretty dang powerful weapons, but Monochrome cannot self-right, and Mannerheim is a flipper, and Mannerheim can also self-right, which is probably going to be a problem. But if Monochrome can get underneath Mannerheim, which is going to be very difficult, they could not worry about that at all, and they certainly have the weapon power to get Mannerheim in positions where it doesn't want to be. And this is going to be a very fascinating fight, so let's go down through the arena to see what happens. Let the bot battle begin. Mannerheim getting underneath in the first engagement and flipping Monochrome, but Monochrome does get back right. And Monochrome is going on the attack now. They've managed to flip Mannerheim over, but now it's Mannerheim getting underneath. Back and forth action to start this one. But now Mannerheim flips Monochrome over. They could end this thing right here. Now they take Monochrome to the wall. What a flip! Monochrome goes out of camera range and then does it again and out of the arena. Mannerheim pretty controlled in this one. I mean, they had a bit of a scare in the middle of the fight where Monochrome was getting underneath and taking control. They managed to flip Mannerheim, which I don't think a lot of bots have done. But still, Mannerheim was able to get underneath, and Monochrome couldn't self-right. And that was the huge problem I talked about earlier. Once Mannerheim flipped them upside down once, that gave them all they needed to just send Monochrome out of the arena with some pretty violent flips. And with that, Mannerheim is in the quarterfinals for the second season in a row, while Monochrome falls in the round of 16 for the second season in a row. We saw the 1 seed to begin this episode, and now we see the number 2 overall seed, Riptide, taking on a rematch with the 15 seed Gingerbread. When these two bots fought earlier in the season, Gingerbread was able to get a little bit of something going, but then Riptide was able to annihilate them later on. And somehow these bots face each other again with the exact same overall record. Riptide, of course, performed slightly worse during Season 2, going 2-3, while Gingerbread went 3-2. But now, Riptide has one more win this time, and they are looking a lot better, frankly, than Gingerbread. They took down Fusion with ease, while Gingerbread also did take down Retribution with ease. So it's going to be interesting to see if Gingerbread has something special planned for Riptide. I mean, they already faced them earlier, so they know what they're up against, but Riptide might just go with the same thing, and if Gingerbread's wedges come off, then it's pretty much game over. Let's go down to the arena to see how this rematch plays out. Let the bot battle begin. Riptide gets underneath for a little bit, but Gingerbread getting underneath and almost getting Riptide in the screws. That could have been disastrous. I mean, they probably shouldn't have fired their lifter there. But now we have a stalemate, neither bot able to really get underneath the other. Riptide getting underneath for like split seconds, but unable to deliver that drum to land the crushing shot. But here they go. Oh, Riptide gets underneath, and while they don't rip off the wedge, they do get Gingerbread on their back, which causes... Oh, this is spiraling out of control for Gingerbread fast, and they are out of the arena. Very similar to how things played out last time. I mean, Gingerbread was able to fend Riptide off for a little bit, and even managed to get underneath once. But it was only a matter of time before Riptide got underneath and just flipped them and tore them apart, ripping off the suicide wedges and then launching them out of the arena. Man, that drum is one of the nastiest weapons in the entire field. They're the 2 seed for a good reason, and for the first time in Ballistic Test Robotics history, the 2 seed advances to the championship. Riptide marches on to the quarterfinals. Now they're the highest seed left standing, from going from reliability issues in 3 fights in a row last season to becoming the highest bot left standing and the only 2 seed to make the championship. Riptide is on a roll, but they're going to have a hellish quarterfinal matchup against whoever they face. We'll see that fight between Bloodsport and Tantrum at the end of the episode. Heading into the second half of the round of 16, we start off with another incredible fight between the 25 seed defending champion Sawblaze and the 9 seed Copperhead. for neither Sawblaze nor Copperhead is the highest of seeds. This is already shaping up to be an incredible battle. Of course, Sawblaze, they're the reigning champ after all, even though they're the lowest seed left in the tournament, and they took care of business against the 8th seed Eye of the Storm. Really, they acted like the higher seed, while Copperhead has also been on a rampage this season. And though they had a bit of struggle against Snowfall, they were able to get the win in that fight, and now they sit in the round of 16 for the first time in their career. Even if they lose this fight, they've done incredible, but I think there's a solid chance that Copperhead can win this fight. Their wedge is pretty low, and Sawblaze's his forks are incredibly battle damage from just a ton of different fights. I mean, and Sawblaze has 20 fights, Copperhead has 14. I mean, that's not including how much I've been using these even before I had my YouTube channel. But this is really an interesting fight. Not the most powerful weapons, but two bots that have shown that they can get the job done. Let's see who wins this fight down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Copperhead getting underneath Sawblaze in the first exchange, and already putting the reigning champ on the back foot. But Sawblaze hasn't really taken too much damage yet, so it's probably fine for them. And they've taken shots before, and now here they go, getting underneath Copperhead again. Now getting Copperhead into the screws. Great start. Now the Sawblaze begins to take control of this fight. This is what they do best. This complete domination of the fight, but Copperhead now getting underneath and nearly into the back of Sawblaze there. Here's Sawblaze in a bit of trouble, but Copperhead... Oh, now that Copperhead flips Sawblaze over, and I don't know if Sawblaze can self-right for that position, but Copperhead looking for the out of the arena shot. There they go again. Copperhead in complete control. They might be able to just leave Sawblaze here. I don't know if Sawblaze can self-right for that position, but now Sawblaze is in the screws. The reigning champion getting absolutely battered in this one. Now it's Copperhead's turn to look like the higher seed. But Sawblaze gets on again, but Copperhead immediately counters that, flipping Sawblaze on the right again and nearly getting them out of the arena again. A great stretch from Copperhead, but now Sawblaze is starting to get things under control, getting underneath Copperhead again, pushing them into the corner, trying to get some kind of lift and trying to get them in a good position, but primarily just keeping Copperhead above Sawblaze, since Sawblaze underneath Copperhead, and now Copperhead in the screws. Sawblaze trying to slow the pace down, something they are more comfortable with, and frankly, I don't blame them. Copperhead has been a surprising thorn in the reigning champ side, and the rest of that body. But now Copperhead gets Copperhead flipped by Sawblaze, and now Copperhead in the screws again. Sawblaze has really taken control of this fight despite that devastating rally by the 9 seed. Now they're trying to do a little more Sawblaze finagling as they do, and now that looks like it's going to be it. Both of Copperhead's wheels are off of the ground. The countdown has started, and what a scare for the reigning champ, but in the end, they triumph.
Knockout.
What a fight. We've had just such great fights in this round of 16. Copperhead just dominated the early part of this fight, despite Sawblaze getting them into the screws once. The number 9 seed was able to get underneath consistently in the early going and put the reigning champs on the back foot, making the 25 seed actually look like a 25 seed. They were just in control, but Sawblaze was eventually able to turn the tide and get underneath Copperhead, slow the fight down, and eventually get them into a position where Copperhead could not drive. Both wheels were off the ground, and they were counted out, leaving the 25 seed, the defending champion Sawblaze, to advance to the quarterfinals for the second season in a row. But Copperhead, you gotta give them credit. They put on a hell of a fight in this one against the defending champion. They were really an underdog. I mean, this has been their best season yet. I mean, last season they lost in the round of 32 pretty handily, and in Season 1 they didn't make the tournament at all. The upgrades to the chassis have done wonders for Copperhead's overall performance, and they have just shot up in capability. And give a round of applause to Copperhead. They went from being the bot that splits in half all the time to being a bot that can put the defending champion under stress. But, however, they are eliminated here. Sawblaze will advance to the quarterfinals and get, I believe, their 17th overall win, which is frankly kind of insane. Our first quarter-final match is set with two of the lowest seeds left standing. The rookie, the 16 seed Cherry Blossom, will have their work cut out for them as the 25 seed reigning champion Sawblaze will be placed against them. And speaking of rookies, we will see the other one next as the number 3 seed Hydra faces the 14 seed Gigabyte. Of course, this is an in-real-life rematch from Battlebots Season 5, I believe. Yeah, Season 5. Hydra was able to pretty easily take the win in that fight. But this one is a bit more interesting. Gigabyte coming off of a very interesting victory against Bronco and Brock. We kind of just split in half. Gigabyte really probably didn't do too much to cause that. I'm not entirely certain. But Hydra is not exactly capable of surviving horizontal hits, at least the wedge part. I mean, the main chassis is incredibly durable, but the ground game durability is just has not really been there. I mean, except in but they have started to prove that wrong. I mean, in the last fight against Cobalt especially, those forks held on pretty dang well. But if Gigabyte can rip that wedge off and then damage the flipper enough, then they might be able to pull something off here. But Hydra still has that incredibly powerful flipper, could send Gigabyte flying. Gigabyte is not the heaviest bot in the competition, not by a long shot. This is a very interesting fight, so let's see who wins it down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Ooh, great shot there by Gigabyte, though Hydra's wedge holds firm. But Gigabyte slams into the screws, and Hydra fully capitalizing on that, throwing Gigabyte all around, pinning them in the corner and getting them out of the arena. Well, Gigabyte kind of made a mistake. They spun out into the screws, and Hydra, credit for them, completely capitalized on it, pinning Gigabyte in the corner instantly and using that pretty powerful flipper to throw Gigabyte out of the arena and advance to the quarterfinals. Well, 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 the number 3 seed and the number 6 seed meet in the quarterfinals yet again. Who could have seen this coming? I mean, both Nemesis did have a bit more struggle to get here, and Hydra had a pretty easy win there against Gigabyte, but Hydra really has its work cut out for him against Nemesis, but history is on their side. I mean, Nemesis, the last 2 times they were in the quarterfinals, they lost pretty dang brutally to a flipper. Mannerheim, a rookie flipper last season. Hydra certainly could do it this time around, but who knows how that fight is going to go. We will see it in the championship episode. Now, we turn to probably the most unique fight of the round of 16, if you want to call it that. The number 4 overall seed, Orbital Fire, facing the 20 seed Huge. Ironically, it has not had the best history against flippers. I mean, they lost last season in the round of 32 to Thunderbolt, and we know how Thunderbolt has done this season. Orbital Fire is pretty dang similar to Thunderbolt. I mean, maybe slightly less powerful, but also Orbital Fire has beaten Thunderbolt in the past, so I have no idea how this fight is gonna go. And I guess Orbital Fire's weapon is not as securely attached to the chassis, but I mean, we saw one big flip, and that could be it for Huge. If one go gets out of the arena, they are kind of screwed. But Huge also has a decently okay spinner, so let's see how this fight goes down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Huge spins up and goes right into Orbital Fire's face. Oh, but there's the flipper gone already. Huge in 2 shots has crippled Orbital Fire. They no longer have a way to knock out Huge, and the 4 seed is in a panic right now. And now Huge, and this has become a certified Huge fight. That was smacking their opponent with that weapon and doing basically nothing, but their opponent can't do anything to them either. Please don't tell me this is going to be another 2.5 minutes of this. Okay, no, Huge somehow gets Orbital Fire into the screws. Okay, now Orbital Fire upside down and Huge just playing with its fury right now. Ooh, there goes a piece. Huge, when it gets those angles, it can seriously launch those parts. And now Huge backing away, or going in for one more shot and losing an eye in the process. And the countdown has started, and the number 4 overall seed will be eliminated.
1 knockout.
And Huge won this fight on the second shot. That was the shot that removed the flipper, and that was it for Orbital Fire. I mean, the 4 seed somehow got the number 4 overall seed, and they did better than they did last season. They didn't get eliminated in the first round like they got kind of embarrassed in season 1, but Huge is the bot who ends up making it to the quarterfinals. The left half of the quarterfinals is now set, and Huge is in that list. They're taking on the 5 seed Mannerheim, which is probably going to be one of the weirdest battles in the championship we have ever seen. But the number 4 seed is gone, the number 1 seed is gone, and this field is kind of open. But now, it is the fight we've all been waiting for. Bloodsport and Tantrum. This is gonna be an epic clash. Looking at these 2 bots, it's very clear that why this is a hyped up fight. I mean, both bots combined for almost 30 wins, which is ridiculous, especially considering that Bloodsport did not do incredibly well in Season 1. Now, Tantrum has made the quarterfinals, at least in both Season 1 and Season 2, and they are looking to do so here, but Bloodsport is a vicious spinner, but Tantrum is also a brick of a machine. And Tantrum currently, I mean, before going into this episode, held the record for most wins of any bot, and if they win this fight, they will maintain that. Tantrum is clearly one of the best bots in the field, and Bloodsport has also risen to that kind of level over the past couple seasons. But it's a massive horizontal bar spinner against the powerful puncher. Who wins this fight? Let's go down to the arena to find out. Let the bot battle begin. Both bots spinning up their mighty weapons, and oh, Bloodsport draws first blood, ripping off a little piece of Tantrum's weapon. That's not going to be enough to kill Tantrum, but they are already taking some serious weapon damage. I mean, they have not been able to close the gap really on Bloodsport, but now Bloodsport pushing Tantrum under the screws there. They would have loved to get the weapon involved there, but Tantrum able to block it up by just being there. And now Tantrum eats a hard shot from Bloodsport, and not many bots can just sit there and take that shot, but Tantrum now has lost most of its front wedge, and is really starting to take the punishment as Bloodsport continues to pluck parts off. Bloodsport really in control now and ramping up the pressure as the 10 seed is beginning to fall apart. One of the self-raiders is gone, but Tantrum's alive. Oh my god! Bloodsport guts the weapon system right out of Tantrum, and this is looking like a massacre, but Tantrum refuses to die, continuing to go face to face with the Bloodsport. We've seen this kind of fight before. or what seems like Bloodsport has learned from it. Tantrum on its side, unable to self-right, and they will take this victory, and what a victory it is.
One knockout.
This is probably one of Bloodsport's first couple times. I mean, okay, Bloodsport has taken on a top-tier bot a couple of times, and this is the way to go against the Bloodsport. Completely annihilated Tantrum. And sure, Tantrum took a ton of punishment in that fight and still kept driving. They could have kept driving. I mean, the reason why they were counted out is because they got stuck, not because they were truly knocked out. But Bloodsport, that weapon is just so deadly. Tantrum didn't really have any angles they could really resist consistently from. And Bloodsport have just piled on the damage until Tantrum really couldn't do anything to counter Bloodsport. I believe this is Bloodsport's first win against a real top-tier bot, and that is gonna look incredible on the resume. And this is probably one of the favorites heading into the quarterfinals. What a performance. Bloodsport just annihilated Tantrum, something that Nemesis couldn't do earlier in this season. Bloodsport, I'd say, is gonna be one of the bots to be feared in the championship and in seasons beyond. And the brackets for the championship is officially set. Bloodsport annihilates the 10 seed Tantrum, and they are taking on the number 2 seed Riptide in a battle of the 3D printed weapons. That is going to be an amazing fight. So here we are, folks, down to the final 8 bots. We'll see the 16 seed rookie Cherry Blossom take on the 25 seed, the lowest remaining seed, and also defending champion Sawblaze. We will see the Dark Horse, the 20 seed Huge, who is here somehow, against the 5 seed Mannerheim, who is looking to go all the way and improve on their Season 2 performance. The number 3 seed, the highest ranked rookie, Hydra, takes on the channel mascot, the 6 seed Nemesis, with both looking to make history. And finally, the number 2 seed Riptide, the highest seed left standing, and the number 7 seed Bloodsport clash in a battle of the 3D printed weapons, 2 of the most violent spinners in the competition. It's all coming to you next episode when we will see a champion crowned. That's it from Ballistic Test Box this time, and we will see you next time.